My name's Mr. X, but today you can call me Mary Poppins.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Welcome to the Extreme Channel. I did not mean that Mary Poppins. Let me explain. I meant this Mary Poppins.
Just needs a touch here and there. Things first. I always say the place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
And the reason is I'm going to pull two 1/4 scale statues out of this box. Before I do that, I want to tell you about some giveaways. We're giving away these two Venom statues right here. Make sure you've liked this video. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have that bell notification. When we hit 10,000 subs, we will be giving them away. Also, we're giving away monthly Extreme prizes every month. Little gift packets go out to 2 people. All you have to do is comment on a video and you're entered to win. The more videos you comment on, the more likely you're going to win. So let's start with this unboxing of this Sideshow Collectibles Court of the Dead Skratch and Riazz statues. No idea what to expect. I ordered these because I have a Court of the Dead collection at my office. You can actually check it out on my office tour video right here. And these were more Court of the Dead pieces. Not only were they Court of the Dead pieces, but it was $90 for both of them. How can you pass that up? So here we have Skratch, dog number 1. And Riazz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Can't even say pronouncing that right correctly. All right, so let's start with Skratch, because I think he is the uncooler. Oh, I like them both actually. So tiny little art boxes. Zoom in here. Oh, back here. There we go. Let's zoom in. So on the front you have a picture of Skratch. Court of the Dead circle. And then some cool crossbones. And then on the top, a full Court of the Dead symbol. He is extremely light, which is what you'd expect for $90. Still packed in foam. They still wrote top. It's actually nice they do that. I remember when they did not write top on statues. It's so simple and so important. And if you're new to collecting, that means they actually on the foam they write the word top. All right, so here he is in his full glory. And of course, we're going to review both of these pieces today. He looks intact. It's a lot smaller than I thought he'd be.
That's what she said!
But initial thoughts are pretty damn cool. So we'll set him to the side, and of course during the review we will go ahead and do all of the close-ups for you guys. So I went ahead and cut out that little packaging part for you guys because I'm sure you're really busy sitting at home in quarantine. So this is the art box for Riazz, and it's actually a little bit different, so check it out. So first, I believe this is the back. There's kind of a weird looking skull. Kind of different, kind of neat. I like the fact that it's different than the other box. I'm not a big art box guy, but I'm guessing the reviews on these won't take that long, so I wanted to show you some other stuff. The sides are different. They're not a circle, but it's still a circle, but it appears almost a pentagram with bones sticking out. And the front is an actual picture of the dog. And it's interesting, they labeled these court critters as in, Court of the Dead, so that almost makes me wonder if they are going to do more. Alright, so I'm breaking a huge YouTube rule for you guys. That rule is you're supposed to center your face somewhere near the middle of the screen, but if I did that, you would not get a good look at these guys. So we're going to do the traditional review, a little bit unconventional, a few things a little bit different, and we're going to jump right in, and we're going to do some close-ups of these guys because I'm getting tired of bending over.
Hey, that's what she said.
So using the extreme scale, first some background info on these guys. So as I said, these are by the Court of the Dead, which is Sideshow's own made-up line. It's really about creatures that have come from the afterlife. And all these different creatures have different functions in the underworld. Most are evil, a few seem to have some other agendas, and they're actually doing an entire literature line off of it as well. And they have a ton of cool characters. I believe this is my 6th or 7th piece from that line, including some weird apples. You can actually check out the review of the apples here. And these are dogs. They are 1/4 scale, so as you can see, that's one of the reasons they're so small, because they're essentially 4 times smaller than what a dog would be in real life. Even though now that I look at it, they may be even smaller than that, so it'll be interesting to see how they scale next to those characters at my office. But this video is going to launch before I even take them to the office, so I apologize not sharing that with you. But conceptually, so I'm not sure if these are dogs, but that's what I'm calling them. They're clearly pets to the creatures of the underworld. And if you look at these guys, a couple cool things going on. You see a lot of elements that almost look like they are bones or skeletons. So kind of that zombie-esque, rising from the dead aspect to them. And Riazz, the one on your guys' right, I believe, the one with the little skull on the bottom. So that's clearly not a human skull because it's a little underscaled. So it may be some type of toy he plays with. You're going to see something else with Skratch on the other side. And as you move up, there's definitely some sculpt opportunity we'll talk about when we get to paint and sculpt. But just really interesting. They're sitting there like they're waiting for their owner, so they're going to pose really well, as most of the Court of the Dead is a museum-style pose to an extent. And as you move up to their heads are kind of over-elongated, a little bit bigger than they should be. They're wearing some strange costumes. Skratch has a human bone, assumably, in his mouth, a human bone that's flaming. You see a lot of flames from the Court of the Dead characters. Overall, these will go really well with a lot of the line. I mean, they took a lot of elements from that line and they added the details into this. And what's really interesting to me is just the creativity behind some of this. When you look at some of the paint and sculpt, I couldn't talk about the concept of the back of these guys, but there's a lot going on. And it's who sits in a room and thinks up this kind of crap. It's pretty cool. So for what they are, I think it's very cool. It's very nice. It's a 3 out of 5 on the concept. Something incredibly different. I like the fact they added to it. It's a cheap price point compared to other statues, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. We'll talk about that in value. Not going to talk about design. They're all one piece. You saw the boxing. Comes out real easy. So we're going to eliminate design from this review, but let's dive into paint and sculpt, and we'll start with Skratch first. So on the bottom, what's interesting is they have this highlighted blue on his feet, and it's the same color as the flame coming from the bone, and he has these elongated toes. There's clearly some separation print issues that you're going to see where his legs meet together as well. So definitely some opportunity on the sculpt. And then jump to the back of him really quick. He has this cool elongated spine coming out. Very, very neat. I like the variations in color they used from the front to the back to his portrait you're going to see. Almost looks like a seahorse in a strange way. Dark maroon colors. Here's his torso again. Weird to try and get pictures of this, but I kind of just want to show you what's going on. These huge shoulder blades coming out. And then his portrait, what everyone's naturally drawn to. What's interesting about this is the colors they used on here as well. This looks very like wood-like color on the top half of his mouth. Almost looks like it's made of wood. His eyes look closed, or he doesn't have any eyes, and there's some of that blue-green paint around it. And what's really neat around the bones that come out of the back of his head, you have these little skull bracelets wrapped around. Very weird and interesting. Check out his teeth from the side here. Very cool, very jagged all over the place. And his bottom half of his portrait, his mouth, looks very different. It's still very wood-like. Check out the bone and the flame coming from it. Craziness, man. I've never reviewed anything like this. Let's look at Riazz. On the bottom you have the skull that was on the box, has kind of this green yarn all over it. It had a lot more on the box. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of a chew toy of him. Very cool claws. And both of these guys are really skinny, which is one of the things that ties it back to, you think that this is, they're from the underworld, they're dead, these are just their bodies. Take a look at the side of his legs here. His legs are crazy looking. They have 3 different joints, at least his rear legs. And you don't know if his upper legs are hands because of the position they're sitting in. And he has these bracelets on these upper hands. Look at his back. So he doesn't have the protruding bones like the other guy does. And totally different color scheme. To me, these are almost, you have to get both of them. They look a lot better with both of them together. He has this plated armor on the back that matches the gauntlet bracelets on his hands. This gold and very similar blue-green color. And I like the shading they used all over the bones. It's a mix between like bone and ripped skin. He has a weird ass collar on. So here is a picture of it on the front. Kind of hard to get a good picture for you guys. And then it juts out the back. It's this copper gold color. Very Egyptian-like. Check out his portrait. His portrait's got a lot more going on. First, the top of it looks like a skull, a very elongated skull with what are supposed to be ears, but they more look like types of weapon, or more like Egyptian or ancient heritage sticking out. And there's this cool sculpt and molding behind it, or that attaches it. Here's his neck. Some weird layering on his neck, but it looks really good. It adds to the bone aspect of the statue. His teeth, just like the other guy, kind of all over the place. Shut mouth. Looks kind of cute. His eyes are strange as hell. You have this black circular pattern and paint all over the outsides, and then his pupils are literally on little stems sticking out, that blue color there. Crazy as hell. These are really cool little guys. So certainly some opportunity, mostly with the sculpt, mostly with this guy right here. I can't even remember which one this is. I think this is Skratch. But the smaller the scale gets on something, the harder it is to keep the detail there. So I really appreciate what they did. And I'm going to give the paint and sculpt, both of Via, very nice. These are neat characters. Something neat, something different. And with that, I think let's talk about value. Yes, these are very small, but you know, if you stack one on the other one's head, it's as big as a 1/6 figure that runs for $200-300, and these were 90 bucks. I think these are fantastic companion pieces if you have Court of the Dead pieces. I think it's almost a no-brainer you should get them. So I think the value is very a rail. It's a 4 out of 5 on the value for 90 bucks. However, with that being said, they don't have an edition size that I know of. It's not on the website. They don't have a base sticker on the bottom. So I assume they're going to make as many of these as they sell. But overall, when you include the value and all that, I think it's a very nice piece. It's a 3 out of 5. I am definitely happy I picked them up. Can't wait to see what they look like at my office. If you want to see what they look like at my office, there's actually an Extreme Channel Facebook page. The link is below in the description, so go ahead and like and follow that. I post a lot of exclusive stuff just on there. Also a lot of announcements about videos before they even pop up on here, so make sure you do that. But let me know what you think of these pieces. Kind of weird. Would you buy these if you had Court of the Dead figures? So put that in the comments below. Not going to do any close-up videos of these guys because I think you probably saw all of them in the pictures, even though I haven't taken them yet. But I am going to include some links to some other Court of the Dead and Sideshow pieces, and make sure to click on that Extreme logo if you, to subscribe to the channel. And until tomorrow, take care, guys.